Bold prediction season continues. Not mine. These are the things that you guys believe. And if any of these bold predictions rate 9.5 or higher on the boldness scale, as decided by me, you win a chalice of supremacy. Let's go. First up, from Poughkeepsie, New York. No first-year head coach under a new program will even make the playoff this year. So who are we talking about here? We're talking about Lane not making the playoff. We're talking about Ole Miss. We're going to count Pete Golding. He's not making the playoff. You got Matt Campbell at Penn State. Pretty workable schedule. Golish is at Auburn. You got Summerall at Florida. Kyle Whittingham's not going to make the playoff. Morgan Scalley at Utah is not going to make the playoff. There are 17 Power 4 teams with a new head coach this year. All of them have to miss out on the playoff in order for this to hit. And Eric Morris at Oklahoma State, just because I keep throwing his name in there. Not a top 18 odds team, but I'm still throwing him in there. Tosh Lupoy at Cal. Will Stein at Kentucky. They're not going to make any noise. Apparently not. James Franklin going to have to wait at least 1 year to make the playoff. I put this at a 9. 12 teams this year. Remember, they haven't bastardized this thing beyond recognition yet. So only 12 teams. I cannot believe those words just came out of my mouth. Yeah, only 12 teams make it. I mean, blink twice and you'll miss the playoff this year. That's how small it is. I put this at a 9. LSU and Ole Miss are tough to keep out of there. Outside of that, I can see it. You got to keep LSU, Ole Miss, and it's a mathematical fact that one of them is going to have a big win in week 3. So whoever wins that week 3 game, I need them to lose 3 games, at least, I think, to keep them out of the playoff. I'll give it a 9. Next up, Jordan from Coconut Creek, Florida. Darian Mensah wins the Heisman, formerly at Duke, now at Miami. I think it's an upgrade at quarterback for Miami. Unfortunately, I've already bet this, so I'm only going to put an 8 on it. Producer Jesse allegedly has some of his hard-earned money in on this as well. He has the 7th best odds to win the Heisman. He was 7th in the country in pass yards per game last year, and he's in a better situation now and brought Barkate with him and got Malachi Toney down there and got a good ground game and what I think will round into a really good offensive line. He's in a great system. Remember, Cam Ward a couple of years ago finished 2nd in the country in pass yards per game, and Darian Mensah can do that. He is a really good player. He's going to be a really good player from Miami. Look, I'm not going to call him the favorite. Arch does exist, but I think Darian Mensah is going to be way up there. So I'm only putting an 8 on that. The next one is bold. Hey, quick time out here. Are you subscribed to the channel? It doesn't cost anything. It's free. Please do it. It helps us maintain the show at this level. That's it. That's all I got. Back to the clip. We haven't gone above 9.5 yet. That's about to change. Out of Dallas, Texas, comes the following. Texas A&M and Texas are both undefeated entering Black Friday. So 11-0 versus 11-0. They, of course, play each other on Black Friday. This would be the game of the year in college football. If this were to happen, this would probably be number 1 versus number 2 if this happened in a rivalry game on a Friday, no less. We have Texas playing the number 1 toughest schedule in the country this year. We got A&M playing the 4th toughest schedule in the country this year. But if you don't care about our strength of schedule metrics, here's another one to hit you with. Take the top 18 teams at FanDuel to win the national title. Texas will have played 7 of them by this point, not counting this game. A&M will have played 5 of them. So that is 12 combined games against the top 18 playoff odds teams in the country, and I'm asking them to go 22-0 in that stretch. That is not happening. That is not happening. 9.75 on the boldness scale there. But if it did happen, oh, man, where's that game? It's at Texas, right, Jesse? No, it's at A&M this year, right? Oh, man, can you imagine? Next up, this is going to be debated. Our rating on this one's going to be debated. Sean from Hutto, Texas. Notre Dame loses to Brigham Young and Miami to miss the playoff. So don't miss what he said there. They lose at Brigham Young, they lose to Miami, and they miss the playoff. Now, that's not difficult to see. Those are Notre Dame's 2 big games, the SMU game as well. But if they lose those games with that schedule, I have a hard time seeing them in the playoff. Although it's not impossible, you would just have to know like what happened around them. Brigham Young is Notre Dame's 7th straight game. And it is a tough road game, obviously. There aren't not many road games like going to Provo, Utah. So that is not a gimme for them. Everybody keeps talking about this thing like it's a one-game season. It's not. Going to Brigham Young is going to be a very, very difficult task, even if you had a bye week before you went out there. And then, even if they lose that one, which I don't think is a major upset. It's an upset, but it's not a major upset. Then they got to come home revenge-minded against a team that ended up costing them a playoff spot last year, and they got to lose at home to Miami too. It's tough to see both of those happening, but it's not impossible. I'm only putting a 9.25 on that. Now, allegations will pour in that I'm a Notre Dame hater, at which point I feel the need to remind you they exited spring as my number 1 team in the country. So take that somewhere else. We don't have lines on those games yet at FanDuel. We do have odds to win the national championship. Oh, by the way, FDM, FanDuel Mike, the other day, hit us up as all of the 2014 playoff expansion propaganda was in the air. And he said, hey, guys, you know how we put out odds to make the playoff? We're like, yeah, Mike, it's Friday, man. We're busy. What do you want? We don't talk to him like that. But he said, well, I got the traders, fancy name for odds makers, I got the traders to generate what the odds would be to make the playoff if the playoff was 24 teams this year. And do you know that there were 4 teams with odds better than minus 1,000 to make the playoff? Jesse, Notre Dame's odds to make the playoff were minus 3,000, over minus 3,000. Pure insanity. Now, fortunately, those odds are not available at FanDuel right now because this is hypothetical. And hopefully, it'll be a moot point and we'll never have to actually look at a market like this. But just so everyone's aware, for all the expanding the playoff doesn't damage the regular season nonsense, that team right there, Notre Dame, would enter the season with minus 37, nearly minus 3,800 odds to make the playoff. 4 teams, nearly 5 teams would have minus 1,000 or better odds to make the playoff. I don't know in what world. How would Notre Dame miss the playoff, Jesse? They would lose Miami, Brigham Young, and SMU and still be in, right? They would still be in. I guarantee you they'd still be in because they'd be close games. I don't know how Notre Dame would miss the playoff. I'm prepared to say it. I'm prepared to say the L word. Notre Dame would be a lock to make the playoff. And I don't ever say that word because even if there's like a 1% chance something does or doesn't happen, that means I'm not saying lock. We could be looking at a 100% chance of Notre Dame to make the playoff. Statistically, I know that doesn't track, but in my heart, it makes sense. So, yeah, there are many things that are currently on the board at FanDuel that you can go wager on or look at. If you don't bet, then you can go look at it. It's very good information gathering.